Well, hello, hello, hello to all of my oily explorers and oily hackers. It's Teresa Sanderson, and of course, I am your guide to essential oils. And I just wanted to connect with you today and talk with you about how to avoid the number one essential oils mistake. Okay, and this is kind of a little known thing. Some of us know about it, some of us don't, but I wanted to kind of make a big deal of it today. And so here's the scoop. You know, sometimes when I talk with people who tell me, Teresa, I really want to learn how to use essential oils. I want to learn to use them for my health, right? To improve my health. But at the same time, they'll say, but Young Living is too expensive. Okay, and then other times I talk to people who say, you know, I'm really not into the whole health thing for essential oils. I just want to be able to use essential oils to fragrance my home. So I feel like I can buy my oils anywhere. I can buy cheaper essential oils, maybe even at my grocery store or department store. Okay, and so I just want to tell you a quick story about why using the highest quality essential oils is important no matter what purpose you're using them for in your home or on your body, okay? And I want to tell you about how I figured all that out. So my very first exposure, I've got to tell you, to essential oils was back in 2005. Greg and I were running the hospice at that time, and my schedule was really harried. I was the RN, I was also CEO, and while I didn't always work long hours, sometimes just having that phone on my person 24/7 was really very draining to me, you know, both physically and emotionally. And so even though I didn't get called all the time, it was just the idea that I had to carry that phone with me whether I was in the office or not. So what I felt like I needed at that time, I really felt like I was getting kind of taxed with my position. So I wanted to be able to, and needed to be able to find some quiet and alone time, right? And just refuel. But how was I going to figure that out? Because my job, of course, was very demanding, and at times it was very stressful. At that point, I was not only running the hospice, but we were also running an aging care home that we had opened, and also a not-for-profit foundation. So I kind of had a few balls that I was juggling, and keeping all those balls in the air was a challenge for sure. But if you had asked me back then, I would have told you that I thrive on a challenge, right? I also struggled with the idea of, you know, taking time for myself when there was so much to do for the patients we were caring for and the employees that we were managing. And also I didn't want to be, you know, didn't want what I was doing for myself to interfere too much with my family life. And being the bargain Bertha that I am, I sure didn't want it to cost too much money, right? You gals know me, you know what I'm all about. So the trouble that I had was that we lived in a very rural community. Hey, Marianne, thank you for joining me. So our community was very rural. I mean, Horton, Kansas, where we were living at the time, had about 2,000 people in it. And so we had no access in that town to massage therapy or spas or anything that might be relaxing to me that way. And I also had kids at home, one in middle school at the time and the other in high school. And so that meant I needed to be available for their activities and, you know, busy school schedules and all that kind of thing too. So then one day I was surfing the web, okay? And I stumbled on to some information about lavender essential oil. And I learned that this essential oil could be relaxing, it could be calming, and it could even be good for sleep. And so, man, I was excited. The article said it had a beautiful aroma and that it could even be added to a bath. And so that's when I realized, you know, we happen to have, when we built our home in Horton, Greg put in a jacuzzi tub. He is just the guy. And so I knew that in that tub I could probably create this spa-like experience for myself using the recipe for a lavender detox bath. And that bath, just so you know, it's very simple. It's lavender essential oil, 2 cups of Epsom salt, and 1 cup of baking soda. And you just put all that together in a steamy hot bath and you soak. And it's wonderful. So I was really excited. And so that's when I realized, you know, I could create this spa-like experience for myself at home for relaxation in the evenings. And so I immediately began to dabble in self-care. And while I was doing my surfing, you know, about lavender, I found out that it was, you know, I read some information that it was important to get a high quality essential oil. And so I immediately found some on eBay. Who didn't shop on eBay back in 2005? And I remember I got this huge bottle. It's like a 2-ounce bottle of lavender. And when it arrived, it came to me, it was in a dark glass bottle. And it had a white label on it, like a printing label, like you would print on your own printer, with black letters, and all it said was 100% pure lavender oil. So I think it cost me all of all of about $8. I have no idea what was in it. It really wasn't an impressive bottle or packaging, but hey, I was on my way. I was really excited. And well, I got to tell you, I totally enjoyed those steamy hot detox baths with lavender and the Epsom salt and baking soda. They were really relaxing to me, and I did them for a while, right? Who among us has started something that sounded just great and then you just kind of fell off the wagon, right? So that's what happened for me. And I went back to my old ways of just working and not really focusing on my self-care. And of course, you all know my story. In 2011, I came down with major depression. So all that came back to haunt me later. But it wasn't until years later, even after my whole experience with major depression, that I was reintroduced to essential oils by my sister, who told me about Young Living. And from there, that's when I learned about why quality and purity of oils is so very important. I learned that everything that we apply to our skin is absorbed and in our bloodstream in 30 seconds and then reaches every cell in our body within 20 minutes. Okay? And I learned that oils that are diffused, we inhale that and they enter the bloodstream and our cells just the same way. When we inhale them, they make their way to our bloodstream and our cells. And while I had never thought at that time about taking an essential oil by mouth, I knew that through digestion, right, as a nurse, I knew that if we digest it, it's going to break down and it's going to be distributed to all the cells in our body as well. Okay, so learning all of this kind of made me think back about my eBay lavender essential oil experience. And I figured out that I knew nothing about the quality of the oil that I bought. Worse yet, I remembered that I had taken numerous baths in it, right? And I had allowed my precious, precious skin to absorb everything that was in my oil, or in that lavender essential oil, and distribute it to every cell in my body, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent. So suddenly it was crystal clear to the nurse in me that if I was going to use essential oils at all, I would only use the purest essential oils for me and my family. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So I began to wonder, though, because I saw a lot of oils for sale in different places, right? In the grocery store, I saw them in department stores, and of course they're for sale online. So I was seeing all these oils everywhere. I started to wonder about them. And I did a little research, and I learned that many oils are diluted with water, or maybe a carrier oil, something like coconut oil or olive oil or something like that. And why does that happen? That happens so that the oil goes further. And then what does that do? The company makes more profit, okay? You receive a lesser quality oil, it's been diluted, and the company makes more money because they have more of it to sell. Does that make sense? Then I found also that some oils are even diluted with harsh chemicals. Buyer beware. This is a big deal because some of those harsh chemicals are things like hexane or others that are even known cancer-causing agents. And they may also cause other health problems. So as I looked at some of the bottles available in my local stores, I saw terrible, terrible warning labels, and I also saw lots of additives. And that's when I vowed that I would always be a label reader. Who else is a label reader? If you're a label reader, I just love that in you. And if you're not, I encourage you to become a label reader. So I researched these, more available oils, right, that were available in the stores and online. But I didn't stop there. Now I wanted to dive deeper into Young Living and learn about, this seed to seal process that I'd heard about. And seed to seal, what I'd heard about it was that it was supposed to ensure the highest quality essential oils. So here's what I learned about it. I learned that it's about 5 different steps, and it all starts with the seed. So when Young Living selects seeds for planting, for lavender plants or any other plant that they're growing, they are looking for the highest quality organic non-GMO seeds, okay? These are seeds that have not been adulterated in any way. They have been handed down from generation to generation, right? And they're like heirloom quality seeds. So it all starts there. Then when the cultivation happens, these seeds are planted in virgin ground that has never been touched by any chemicals or anything that would contaminate it. So it's this virgin soil that the seeds are planted in, and it's not been exposed to any pesticides or other chemicals. And as the plants are growing, you know how weeds grow in between all the plants, there is a process of hand weeding. Young Living employees come out and pull the weeds by hand, okay? Because there's no Roundup or anything like that in these fields. So I love that concept. The harvest time, what happens at harvest? The plants are not harvested until they are peaking. And so at the time that they're getting close to peaking, somebody literally goes out and takes a snippet of that plant, runs it back to the lab, sometimes even hourly, to make sure that those plants are not adding any more constituents. Those are the things that give them their therapeutic value. And once they're found that they're not adding any more constituents to their therapeutic value, then it's time to harvest. It's all hands on deck, and the harvest happens pretty immediately. Then comes the distillation process. All of this is part of seed to seal. Do you hear how constructed it is? It's kind of, confining. Everything happens a certain way. So then there's the distillation. Well, D. Gary Young, Young Living's beloved founder, who passed away last May of 2018, he developed this process of being able to distill essential oils at the lowest possible temperature so that those little chemical constituents they contain, all of the tiny little molecules within those essential oils, do not lose their therapeutic value, okay? So it's important to know that all of this has to do with the quality of the oil that you're buying. Lastly, you should know that the last part of the seed to seal process is testing. Young Living tests their essential oils for quality and purity in-house, but they also have independent third-party testing done on their essential oils for that very same purpose. And I love that. So I just think the seed to seal process, when I learned about it, just kind of spun my head around, because I'm not usually much for control freaks, but as a nurse, I totally understand. You might hear my little pooch Jasmine right now. She's in here with me, and she's she's looking out the window and would rather be outside, so apologize for that. But as a nurse, I've got to tell you, I totally understand that whether I breathe these oils, take them by mouth, or apply them to my skin, they are coming inside my body and inside the bodies of those I love. So I'm totally okay with Young Living being a control freak about it, about the quality of these essential oils. That is absolutely what I want, because remember, whether you're breathing it in, taking it by mouth, or putting it on your precious, precious skin, it is coming inside and it's going to be distributed to every single cell in your body and all of your vital organs. Are you with me? That's important. So after I'd done all this research, I became convinced that Young Living Essential Oil is the only brand I'm ever going to use. And I've also been blessed to visit the Young Living Lavender Farm. Thank you, Stacy. I'm glad you're here with me, girl. I've also been blessed to visit the Young Living Lavender Farm in Mona, Utah, and I've been able to plant lavender in that field, and I've been able to tour the distillery. And one thing that I love about Young Living is that if you travel to Mona, Utah, and go to the lavender farm, there is a visitor center there. And you can present yourself and you can tour the entire place. You can talk with employees. You can look around. And I think that to me just says, we have nothing to hide. We would love you to come and see our farm. So I totally love that. Hi, Shelley. Thank you for joining me. Hi, Grace. So anyway, I just love that about this company. And so by taking the time to learn about essential oils that cost less, because that's really where I started, right? I was the eBay gal. I bought my eBay lavender, $8 for 2 ounces. By taking the time to learn about the lesser oils, I learned that these oils may do more harm than good. Okay? Bottom line, lesser essential oils will enter the bloodstream, cells, and vital organs of our bodies just the same as high quality oils, okay? So it doesn't matter if they're diffused, if they're applied to the skin, or if they're taken by mouth. So when people tell me I can get essential oils anywhere or that Young Living is too expensive, I share with them now what I know about the quality and purity and why it matters so much, okay? Especially for people who tell me I want to use essential oils for health. Well, if you want to use essential oils for health, really you just can't buy your essential oils anywhere. You can't. Young Living is the company for you, and I want to help you get started with that. So it's a crazy thing, I think, to want better health and also be on the lookout for the bargain. When it comes to essential oils, I encourage you to follow my mantra. Know what you're getting and get what you pay for. Before I leave you tonight, I just want to offer a special deal for anybody who's been on the fence. and thinking about getting started with essential oils, right now, while supplies last, Young Living has a sale on the premium starter kit that has been replaced with a new one in 2018 and 2019. But the one from 2018, I got to tell you, it is awesome. It comes with 11 essential oils. It comes with a beautiful dewdrop or desert mist diffuser, just like the one behind me. And you can get that right now at 10% off retail. That's what Young Living has. It's 10% off retail while supplies last. When you get started with me, with that particular starter kit, I am also I will send you an essential oils pocket reference guide from Life Science Publishing so that you have something to start your oily research and your oily learning. I would love for you to have that as my gift to you. This offer is exclusive for me, but if you've been on the fence and thinking about getting started, I want to encourage you and I want to help you. So thank you everybody for tuning in. God bless your evening. Bye-bye.